Welcome back.
Woo.
Did you just dropped something, Andrew? That was a very sheepish face.
No, I heard someone else. I've got a crinkly wrapper in my hand.
Oh, well, you were
I'm not the
fine.
thing dropper.
That was probably me remembering that my mic was up instead of
Ah, yes. Yeah. Well, welcome back, everybody. So we're done with our 5 times a year quarterly reporting. So let's talk about what comes next. So the period of sort of post coup comes to an end, and we've got a bit of an opportunity to do like an epilogue for that situation. So given that we're gonna go for another like half hour or so, and we want to have time for handing out fate and persona and whatever, does anybody have anything specific they want to do before we say we're gonna leave this town behind?
No, I hate this town.
No, I feel like a lot of people feel that way. All right,
I do
Bernard.
want to get the heck out of this town.
Let's blow this popsicle stand.
All right, Bernard. Let's talk about what you need to do, because I know you need to. This is your time to shine, right? This post chaos
Finally.
moment. So what are you gonna do?
I'm going to consult with the stars
Yeah.
and ask
Well, I'm
them.
doing that too, actually.
Okay. I'm going to ask them what Octavian needs to do next.
Okay. So Bernard, I don't know. You're like in you're in an area of the village where maybe there's like a table that's been set out, and folks use this table for all kinds of things, but mostly like eating at. But all that's done. It's like nighttime now, and it's a chilly sort of spring night. It's clear, the first clear night you've had in weeks. Your hands are sore from playing your lute all day, and you're maybe in between your daily pummeling, and you're not quite so drunk that you're ready to pick a fight. But you're sitting at this table with all your kind of like star charts and maps, and you got your book of seasons lying next to you, sitting on the table next to your like mug of ale, which you're just thinking maybe now is it's almost time to refill. And you see Saba and Sia coming back from her like day's work. And Saba, you see Bernard sitting at this table with all these like charts. And at first they seem like, maps or like topographical information, but then you realize that they're actually like constellations. I mean, they're all wrong, of course, but you certainly don't recognize them. But there are stars laid out in some recognizable fashion. What do you do?
I think I come and sit at the table, like across from Bernard.
Okay.
Evening elf.
And I nod, and I'm like looking up at the sky. And like ignoring all of these like charts, like why I can just look up at the stars. Why would I look at the charts?
I'm doing a lot of like scribbling and then looking up and scribbling again and crossing it out. Do you consult with the stars often?
Whenever I can.
That's how Bernard picks up ladies at the bar. It's a good pickup line, especially for elves.
Yeah.
But and I like kind of like notice the charts and stuff and look down and see you making notes. Our relationship with them is a little bit different though.
How so?
Well, our light and that of the stars is all one. So I don't analyze them with charts. I speak to them.
I admit it would be nice to hear a clearer voice. I must trust to the great voice of knowledge and study it as best my will can take me. There is, at the same time, a great joy in conquering the meaning of the stars with my own wit.
Yeah, and Sabo looks a little sad when you describe it that way.
It's great because it's like, I mean, Bernard's basically saying like the whole reason the internet exists, right? Humans have a short lifespan and need to externalize their knowledge or memory. So that's what books are
and
for.
conquer things.
Yeah, then conquer things.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she kind of just like shakes her head, just says like, they don't need to be conquered. They need to be listened to.
Naturally. They must be listened to find the best possible message.
Yeah, so I think at this point in the conversation, maybe Bernard keeps talking, but Sava starts tuning him out and just starts like humming at the stars, talking to the stars about stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to keep looking at my charts.
Okay. So, Bernard, you want to make a test here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll roll astrology.
Oh yeah, I'll
and-
find astrology here.
Yeah, I can't fork anything into it, though. That's okay.
Let's take a look through my notes here. Here we go. So astrology, yeah, you can actually fork doctrine or symbology if you have either of those.
Oh, that makes sense.
know
I do
you're-
have symbology,
I know
and
you're a symbologer.
I am, and I will fork that in.
Okay. So it sounds like you are determining the auspices of beginning an enterprise. Basically,
Yes.
you're looking at. Okay. So what? I mean, nobody goes to the star charts or whatever without some kind of like presupposed idea or desire, right? Like people don't just check their horoscope for kicks. They're like, oh, what is today going to be like? Or like, am I going to get this job I wanted? You're not asking specific, you're not divining specific questions unless you want to make an ob4 test. But if you're doing like a general auspices thing, what are you looking for information on? Like, what do you want the stars? What do you want to read?
I kind of want to see, and I'm thinking of when you're into horoscopes and you look at, oh, Mars is in the house, so that means that martial things are happening. Something along that, trying to figure out, are we going diplomacy or are we going to be fighting? Are we going to be having a significant military action? So really just figuring out diplomacy versus...
You want the like fortune cookie,
Yeah.
story of how this is all going to go.
Yeah. Like, is the sky going more red or more green, olive branchy?
Excellent. Okay. I'm just making some notes about like random star stuff. Okay. So yeah, it's gonna be ob 3.
Okay.
What's your astrology at?
It is at 4, and I have a gray dice.
Oh damn. All right. So you've got 4 dice, and then you have the added die for symbology, right?
Yes.
Okay. So make sure you add that in.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and do ob 3.
And yeah,
Nice. All right.
Yay.
Cool. Okay. So yeah.
Eureka!
So getting a look at the stars and consulting the ancient charts, flipping through your book, you see that the sign of the Gray Maiden has fallen under the auspices of another sign called the Wicked Crone. And they share a star, so they kind of like rotate around each other. And sometimes it's like the Crone ascendant, and sometimes it's the Maiden ascendant. And in the positions that these two sets of stars are in, this is a period in which the hand of the maiden, if you imagine the constellation, it's like a woman reaching out, and she has one hand touching the crone, and she's always the myth is that like the crone is her mother, and she's the like wayward daughter. But every once in a while, her other hand touches another constellation called the Champion. And again, in the story, the Champion is always trying to take the maiden away from her mother and like, lead her into, and sometimes the story is told as like, all in time, like women have to leave home and get married. But other times it's like the Champion's trying to steal her away, like he's a bandit or whatever. There's all these like different ways to interpret it. But it's often a sign of like a new the burgeoning of a new like romantic entanglement, and sometimes that's good and sometimes it's bad. But when you consult the charts, Octavian's right in the middle of that kind of oracular space.
Oh dear. These are strange tidings that the stars are telling me. I must be sure to make sure my lord stays focused on the appropriate target.
Right, and it could mean like is Octavian the Grey Maiden in this reading, or is Octavian the champion, right? Come to take some take his bride from the next peoples that you visit. Like there's still some questions there because it's ob 3, not ob 4, but it's an auspicious sign for beginnings. It's an auspicious sign for like things happening, right? It's not like the tower. It's not like things are going to be horrible, but yeah, there's definitely, and I think it's okay to interpret that as like temptation ahead.
Oh, there will be trials of the heart.
And so yeah, Bernard starts like waxing poetic about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And Saba just like cuts in and just says, "When were you born? What day?"
In the winter. On a cold day in March. Why do you ask? It's a strange question. I mean, I'm doing something.
She's just like, "Oh, well, I'm terribly sorry to have interrupted," and just like goes back to looking up at the stars.
I go quiet back to my studies, and then why? What do you mean? What's up? What is it, elf?
Well, they say that the stars you're born under have something to say about you. So I thought I might ask.
What does this say about me?
Well, I haven't asked yet.
Be sure you ask when the night is clear. I would be curious to know.
Yeah, so Bernard's like a little vain about it. He's a little bit like, so yeah, Adam, can I like figure out Bernard's horoscope or whatever the like super easy one is?
Yeah. It's the same skill, right? Like for obs and stuff, it's astrology.
Yeah, it's astrology.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you want to go the even easier route, the easiest possible test for astrology is ob 1, and it's naming the stars and constellations. So all you'd have to do is sit down with Bernard and be like, "Let me show you," right? Like that thing that you call the broken-necked crane, that's actually, look at it this way, like you could just like lay out the stars in elven style.
Okay, but telling his horoscope is ob 2, so then it would be ob 4.
Yes, yeah. Constructing a person's horoscope is ob 2.
Yeah, I still want to do that because I think it would just be funnier.
Okay, sure.
Like, I don't know if I screw it up, whatever. I'll just like tell them some weird bullshit. Okay. Actually, you know what? No. Let's succeed at a roll once this session. Yeah, so I'll be like, well, first we should establish what the stars are named, because whereas you all, I'm sure, have your own names for them, we ask and hear their names come back to us. And so she starts like singing into the night sky, and like some of the like a constellation kind of like glows a little bit. Mm-hmm. And she's like, yes, that one is, like the, I don't know, what would the elves have for constellations?
I mean,
like,
I don't know that the elves necessarily, like the elves I think would name individual stars, but
yeah, because
you name people, and I guess you name like groups of people, but the people are more important, and so each individual star has a name, not so much the collections of the stars. Whereas the humans are like, I don't know, that's like part of this other cluster of stars. They see them only as their patterns, not as individuals.
I like that. So maybe Saba like points out like individual stars one by one from the constellations that Bernard was just looking at.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, that's preposterous.
Yeah,
I
what-
have all
what are
their
you talking
names written down right here. They've been recorded.
So are you following
Several
along in
years
the book, like looking for them and being like, no, look right here. It says that's obviously this.
You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember we like actually named a couple of stars. I think I just named them after like words in Sanskrit. Because Himsa was one of them, right? It was
Himsa was one.
the
Yeah.
star of harm or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, you wanna do like an ob one.
Yeah. I'm just gonna name some stars.
Okay.
Here I go.
Okay. Good luck.
Ob one test. Oh my god! I just exploded on the roll. Holy shit!
It's like the most. So you got sixes on all three of the dice you rolled the first time,
Oh my god.
and then a
Yeah, or
success on
something.
all of them. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you unlocked Song of the Eldar yet, or how many more
No.
tests do you need?
I'm at 5 out of 7.
Yeah, you name all of them. Just every visible star. You're like, nope, that one.
And that one's this, and that one's that, and like every time she like calls its name out in Elven, and it like twinkles a little.
And I'm
"Oh,
like
that's this one,
scribbling
this one."
elven account of the stars.
Yeah. Well, the problem is because like your elven vision is so much better than humans. You're probably pointing at dark space sometimes, being like,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
star.
Bernard can't see it.
Yeah. And all the names are in a foreign language that Bernard doesn't understand. And
I think he was making up some of them.
yeah,
She-
she lied to me about this. This is an empty space. Elves
Well,
be-
yeah, and he like transliterates the names all wrong and stuff. Yeah. But Saba like takes the time to try to explain it all to him.
Cool. Okay.
I forgot I was gonna like take my time on that roll too, get an extra 2 dice, but it was like so unnecessary.
Yeah. You blew it out of the water.
Okay, cool.
All right. Excellent. A little bonding moment for the two of you. Cool.
kind of.
I mean,
If Bernard cared to listen instead of just like,
Well, I mean, Bernard has an instinct about this, right? You know,
at least
like you
he's writing
have
it
the instinct to learn.
Yeah. I
So-
also know everything though.
It's true. You're kind of a know-it-all.
he doesn't want to learn from other people. He wants to learn by observe. He wants to discover knowledge.
It's more important for me to take note of what other people believe is true. So the writing down is important, but not necessarily internalize any of it for myself.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So one evening, that's like a thing that happens. Gretelin, can we do anything with you before town is done, or do you just want to have like a scene with you packing up your shit?
Yeah, I am very done with this dirty place that has no respect for me or my wares. So
Okay. So maybe you're
Kinda-
packing up your stuff. And if anybody else wants to introduce themselves into the scene partway through, you're welcome to say like I show up. But while you're like packing up your cart, Rubati and her now like honor
Ugh.
guard, she's got like two guards with her. She approaches, and she sees you like packing up. She's like, "Dwarf,
I say nothing.
what are you doing?"
Who does she think she is? What is she doing here?
She's like, "What's that? Speak up."
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there.
So you look over to her and she's dressed really differently than we had seen her before. She's wearing these like long, like red dyed, like grass, like robe kind of things. And she has her hair all like pulled up into like a crown braid. She's got a like armor on one arm, like a brace. And she has a sword, like a bronze sword, at her hip. Her guards are wearing like bronze helmets with masks, so you can't see their face. They have like eye holes cut out, these kind of like stern mask faced, and they have like a chest plate and a similar like clothes otherwise. Yeah,
My,
so, yeah, she's like, sorry.
My, how regal you look.
She kind of like grins. She's like, as is appropriate. Are you
Oh, of
moving?
course.
Are you moving somewhere in the camp? I could send some men to help you carry your cart if you like.
Oh, no, no, don't trouble yourself. I think my companions and I are preparing to leave.
She kind of scowls. She's like, leaving? Why? Where are you going?
Oh, we're just moving on. We're done here.
She kind of like looks around and she's like, I have dozens of warriors who are yet to be equipped with steel. We could make good use of your work.
But see, the real gift I've given you here is the knowledge to make those things yourself. Many of the young people in this clan have been training with me, and I think they're very ready to procure your people with what they need.
She says, I will be the one who decides when my people are ready for you to leave. So stop whatever it is you're doing. Get back to work.
No.
She like looks around and she's like, I'm sorry.
I said no. I would like to leave.
And she says, and I would rather not be leading this village. I'd rather be riding my horse. But we have duties to attend to, don't we?
We put you in power, did we not?
She nods.
What more do you need from us?
She says,
Certainly not art. Certainly not fine things that I attempted to give you.
she says, no, we have no time for those things now.
Of course not, no. Silly.
But you have other skills. You can make us swords, fine armor. We can put you to use.
You ignorant. I gave you fine armor.
She like
You
kinda,
destroyed it.
she
That was
scowls.
right.
Yeah, she scowls, and she like looks around and she's like, "Fine, dwarf, be difficult. I'll speak with Octavian about this."
Very well.
And yeah, I think that she turns to leave. So the next time that you're speaking with her, Octavian, so you, Grelin, you're able to like finish up and like get ready to go. Where are you, Octavian, the next time that you and Rubati have a conversation?
I'm probably training with my sword.
Yeah. Okay. So this is like near the like at the end. Maybe you've just finished. You've handed your sword off to someone to like oil and sharpen the nicks out of the edge of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you see Rubati approaching. She doesn't look like mad. She's not like storming over. She's like stops a couple of times to like talk to people. She sees there are a couple of soldiers. You're in like a martial like yard, and there are other soldiers like practicing with swords and stuff. And so she like watches them, and whatever, makes her way over to you.
Okay.
And yeah, she greets you. She says, like good afternoon, Your Grace.
Good afternoon, Rupati. How goes the training of your new forces?
She says, it's going well. Having you here to inspire them has been very helpful. They're trying to match up with your indomitable will.
And I'm like, I'm basically like sort of looking, sort of shielding my eyes from the sun or something, and like picking like splinters. Like I'm covered in like splinters from
It's
the
sawdust.
yeah, from the targets.
Yeah.
The dummies, and I'm like picking it out of my hair and brushing my shoulders off, and I'm like, yes, of course, that's indeed.
She says, I was speaking with your dwarf. She said you were leaving.
Leaving, of course, yes. We have to carry out our mission, move on.
That's troubling. There's so much more work you could do here.
Well, I'm certain it wouldn't. You wouldn't need me here to carry out that work.
Can you make a real quick? Actually, you don't even. I don't think you know. I'm gonna tell Colin, and you can decide how much Octavian notices. She has a moment where she looks like that sort of like uncertain, hunter from months ago, and you can tell that she's feeling scared of being left responsible and alone, right? Like, as long as you're here, if something fucks up, she can come to you and be like, help. Like, what do I do?
Mhm.
But she doesn't want to show it, right? She's at the point now where she doesn't want anyone to know that she's like feeling that way. But she has, a moment of like uncertainty, and you see it on her face. Maybe Octavian doesn't notice, but um, that's the thing that happens. We notice
Yeah,
as an audience, certainly.
I suspect Octavian does not notice that at all.
Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah. So she says, we could use you to train the men. Your servants can equip them. I have scouts up in the northern hills. They're finding new, stouter trees to cut down. We're making buildings, crafting bows. They're bringing back iron so we can make steel. And you can tell it's like a word that they don't have a word for. That she's like, I don't like gray metal, like you know.
Yeah.
And she says, just another month or two till the end of the season.
I look up at her as if noticing her for the first time, and sort of I look kind of perplexed, and I'm like, surely you don't mean my presence is required to carry out these trifles of daily progress for this town, which we've so carefully planned and established. And what's this all about, Rubati? You're doing fine. And I like sort of slap her on the back.
She she sputters a little bit and says, I would never deign to tell you what is required, Your Grace, and if you must go, then so be it. But what are we to do in your absence?
I I guess I pause for a moment because it's like sort of a difficult question for Octavian as well as Colin.
Mm-hmm.
And I I'm like, well, you're to build the town, of course. You've set the plans in motion for integrating with the Fire Clan as your noble people have deigned to do. You surely are interested in progressing to the point of civilization and resources that we've talked much about, that we have in our place of origin.
She I think she says to you, she says, I understand that you can't stay, but could you send word to the library of what's happened here? Have your scribe tell them that if they could send us aid, someone to teach the villagers to read, perhaps. It's a small gesture, but it would mean a great deal to me and to the people. Um, and she kind of like embarrassedly like looks down and she says, I fear that while I'm able to lead these people in their day-to-day duties, I know little of the practice of the fire cult itself. We could use a priest.
Hmm. Well, first of all, I'm not sure why you're so concerned about reading. Uh, I'm not sure if there is much noble stock in this village to begin with. Who is it that would even require that lesson? And furthermore, in my experience, you'll only trouble people teaching them to read. It's full of much lessons about titles and royalty and lineage and such. The process of learning to read is not one for the people of the small folk, as of course I'm sure you know.
Yeah, and she's nodding, and like you can see her, she's absorbing this information. She's not getting offended and being like, "Oh, you didn't call me a peasant." And I think that when she's done, like when you say that, she says, "I understand. I will train my people in the ways of war, and when the time comes, call on us. And she turns and looks, and you kind of like look out at the men and women training with weapons, and like they're a lot better than they were a month ago, and you can see them like, starting to improve, and they're fighting like they might eventually be able to like fight in an actual battle. And she says, when you have need of us, you need only call.
I'm like, hey, Rubati, and I put one hand on her shoulder, and I'm like, we did good here. You've brought glory to your town, and we've made it a better place. I'm confident that you can stand here and bring greatness to these people that they have yet to see before.
And she nods solemnly and says to you, I only hope that I can be a single spark in what will be a great fire that will consume the land. And she like grins and like looks, and you can hear like the grunting and like swords of her like warriors behind her. And I think she like holds your arm in the like kind of like warrior handshake. And she says, Fire God watch over you, your grace.
And you as well, Rubati.
Cool. All right. So I think that's probably where we can fade to black. Though I do want to have like, so we finish this scene and it's like end of the episode, but there's like another very short scene that none of you are present for, where we see the grassland, right? And it's night. There's this like big like heavy silver moon, and we can hear hard breathing and like running with like footsteps in the grass. It's a woman, and we see Marta. She's like bandaged around her neck. The bandages are all like black. She has some other like wounds, and she's running, and she looks panicked. She's got her eyes are like wide, and we see her stop against a tree, and she looks back over her shoulder, and we hear like faint, like deep like war drums kind of somewhere in the distance. And then there's the snap of a black feathered arrow that lodges in the tree next to her. And she turns and looks at something we can't see. We see like it's off screen. We can kind of see something movement reflected in the huge like, pupils of her eyes. And she takes a deep breath as if to scream. And then we cut to credits.
God damn it.
She got away, but how far, we don't know. Cool. Let's do Fate and Artha and all that jazz. Because I know y'all got some points coming to you. Gretelin, let's talk about your beliefs.
Sure.
So, obviously, Fate for humans are our equals. Arm them with the tools they need to fight. Because I don't feel like you. Do you feel like you've resolved that one? Did you? I mean, you haven't all armed all humans. So.
No. I
Think
I'm gonna
want to
work
get
on that.
together and arm all the humans. So yeah, this is one that like will continue to garner fate points for you, I think. For your second belief, humans, it seemed like you were pretty happy to like help them all out and do stuff for them. Not a lot of judging of individual worthiness, unless you disagree.
Well, what about with Rubati?
Only her body.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really just her like holding a grudge, though. Like she doesn't understand that she had to do that because she needed to assert herself.
Take fate for that one for sure, because I hadn't really looked at it from that angle, but yeah, you were passing judgment. You were like, you're worthy of some aid, but not all of it, right? I'm not going to give you weapons.
I've given you enough.
Yeah, exactly. You've taken enough. Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. And I feel like, and I don't know, maybe part of this was a mechanical decision on your part, but it was also an in-character decision. I feel like I want to give you fate for the keeping the best stuff for myself instinct, because you definitely threw Saba and Sia under the horse carriage. Yeah.
And then still failed your roll.
Yeah. You invented a bus and then ran her over with it. Okay. Cool. So take fate for that.
Okay, thanks.
And then any of your traits you think came into play in a way that complicated your character's life?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe my no, not really.
Okay.
Oh, greed.
Yeah, I mean that's tied into the instinct.
I don't know if determined to be stubborn.
Yeah. No, I think all those, if they did, they worked in your favor for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Then no.
All right, so it's 3 fate to your total.
Cool.
Bernard, let's do yours.
Okay.
So,
I think I worked on the first belief for recording history,
yep.
and the second belief. I think I just worked towards the second belief. I'm not sure I can say that I resolved it because I just whispered in Octavian's ear. Didn't necessarily convince him. But I did consult with the stars. Ooh. Although I definitely consulted with the stars, but did I decide what our next move should be? I learned some stuff.
I mean, you tell me. Did your consultation with the stars tell you what you should be on the what you should do next?
No.
Like if I asked Bernard, like, here are some options of the next places to go, which one would you pick? Would that have helped? I roll?
No.
Okay, so Bernard's still feeling uncertain.
Yeah.
Okay, so mark fate for the ones you did, and then consider adding something to them or changing them to give you something like a next step.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't think I can do anything with my instincts because none of them
They didn't
really
get in trouble.
led me astray. Yeah.
Yeah.
And pretty much same with traits. I mean, I was drunk. I wasn't know-it-all, but it didn't really, I don't think, hinder me or come about at a time when it was unfortunate.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Sounds good. Octavian?
Oh, I assumed I was muted because I always am. So I think none of my beliefs came into play at all.
No.
no.
I think your last one. I think
Yeah.
I think you resolved that third one, right? Your task is done, and you had the opportunity to stay behind and be like, no, Well, so here's the great thing. I put you in a position to combat one of your instincts or achieve your belief, right? Because your instinct was to stay and help, right? But you're like, no, fuck that, we're out of here.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not interested.
So, take persona for that third belief.
Okay.
Yep. And then for your traits, I just want to take a quick look. Yeah, I don't think so for any of those ones. I don't think fate, but persona is very good to have.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. I want in the next sequence, either by letter or in person, I want to meet your dad. I want to meet the High King Langley.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about this, dude. I got some ideas. The question is whether I've been thinking about if this was a movie, what actor would play him, and I'm filling in some space. I got some ideas. I was thinking Brian Cox the other day. Do you know who that guy is? That actor? Look him up between sessions. Brian Cox in a role which he had a beard.
Like the star astrology guy.
Yeah.
Astronomy.
Are we talking about we must not be, because I don't think he's an
The
actor.
physicist?
No, not the
No,
physicist.
the old guy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the Brian Cox I
guy.
know.
Okay.
Maybe this guy's got a different name. Anyway, I'll look him up. I'll find a picture
the
for
one
you.
who was in
The guy that does whiskey tasting or whiskey pronunciation videos.
Scottish actor?
Yeah, he's a Scottish actor.
Yeah, he was in the
Okay.
Bourne movies, right? As the old
I think so. Yeah.
hard dude.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I
You know the guy I'm
recognize
talking
this
about.
guy.
Maybe his name is something else. Because I looked
His
him
name
up
is
on
Brian Cox.
Oh,
I'm
is
pretty
it?
sure.
Okay.
I just looked him up.
Perfect. Anyway. Okay. Cool.
I feel, just last note on that, I feel he should maybe be inexplicably British. Just because the name Langley sort of feels that way.
Oh yeah.
Or
But
Welsh.
It's your call. I don't actually care. I'm sure it'll be amazing either way.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for him and the rest of the Fire Clan. Cool. Okay. And then Saba and Sia.
Yeah, so I think I should earn fate for my first belief because I taught Bernard some shit. And then second belief, I don't know if that's I mean, I tried to earn my keep by teaching people how to weave things, and I feel like I did teach them how to weave stuff. It's just I didn't earn very much money doing it.
Yeah, no, take Persona for that because you taught them and outfitted them. It just didn't go well for you personally.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then Fate for my third belief. I feel like, just still working towards that.
Yep.
I my instincts didn't complicate anything. The only trait I would argue for is that matriarchal kind of messed up my day because I had to like still be like, oh, I'm totally still gonna make you that though because like I want to make you one feel guilty and two be a mom figure. And so I'm still like committed to doing something for Gretelin, even though Gretelin couldn't hold up her end of the deal.
Yeah, I think so. That's a pretty like upstanding momly kind of thing to do. To just be like, I made a promise, and I know it's like you can't do it. Yeah, I'd give you a favor.
Particularly because I now have a depleted stock of all this stuff, so I can't actually.
Do you have any grief tests to look at?
Yeah, I feel like I would have had a chance to lament them, so I'm just gonna. I mean, let's look at what I need for today, and then I need to go back and do an audit from last episode.
Yes, yeah,
And just like properly tally everything. But let me see, because I think Gretelin letting me down actually counts.
I mean, Gretelin lied to you, right?
Yeah.
She lied to your face. You don't know this, but that doesn't matter.
Well, and I think my daughter's comment and like general elven world weariness kind of mean like I think Saba pieced it together that like
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily, and I guess this is your call. I don't know if I would call this a betrayal by a friend, but it certainly was being lied to.
Yeah, so at the very least there's that.
Because one is ob 6 and one is ob 1, right?
I think this is small because it wasn't like I was expecting too much from her. So
it was more of a fiscal fake out than it was like a huge betrayal.
So I'm just gonna note this ob 1 times 1, and then anything else.
I think just that one for this session.
Yeah, this is a low grief episode.
Elves don't care that much about being poor or getting made poor. It's all the other shit.
Yeah.
It's you're opposite from dwarves in that regard.
Yeah, I'm all about the feels.
Yeah, all about the feels. I love it. I'm really digging the very like Lord of the Ringsian vibes that we get from the interaction between greed and grief, and like that's it's really fun. All right, cool. I'm gonna go do my thing and make the Reddit thread. If y'all would like to tell us where we can find you on the internet and what you will be up to, I'll go.
Let's do it snake draft style. So I go first.
All right, go.
I'm Andrew. You can find me on the internet, on Twitter @CommutingCrow, on Twitch, twitch.tv/actualfactual. Most recently, I have been painting miniatures like this fine specimen here. So you can watch me do that. I also play video games sometimes and do other art stuff sometimes. And that's what I do. What does Colin do?
Wow, I get to go second. Caught me off guard. I am a designer of things related to the internet, which you may be familiar with. And you can keep track of all that, all the exciting things that I do or don't do on Twitter at twitter.com/SVNDER. And Suzanne.
There we go. Hey, everybody. I'm Suzanne. I'm the brand manager for Roll20. You can follow me on Twitter at I am a snarky pants. You can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/serial, I stream video games very occasionally, playing The Witcher 3 Hearts of Stone right now, which is really good. And yeah. Jess, what's up?
I just assumed. Sorry.
Really?
I was going to comment about Suzanne being snarky and like when she's like, this game's really good. I'm like, well.
But wait.
Do a lot of commentary. A lot of, it's good, but could be better.
Can I go now, Colin?
Go ahead, Jess. Yeah, I won't interrupt anyone from here on out.
You guys know who I am anyway. I'm Jess. I'm on the internet as Silden. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Silden. Thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up with my coughing and my face and all this. I love you. Tell your friends about Burning Wheel because it's so much fun. And watch my D&D show on Wednesdays. That's me.
Excellent. Thanks, Jess. Jess's D&D show on Wednesdays is awesome. You should definitely watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty fun. There's something about an owl, I think, and it's great. Cool. So yeah, that's it for today's episode. I am, as always, Adam Cole. I'm your GM. You can find me on Twitter at Skinny Ghost, and you can follow Roll20 on Twitter at Roll20 app. We're gonna have a shit ton of awesome videos for you from Roll20Con as soon as we all get finished chopping them up and putting them up on YouTube. It's an arduous process, but we are on it. We are slaving over the hot internet fires for you, like a bunch of angry dwarves. So you'll be able to check those out soon. We'll tweet them out as they go live, or you can just throw a follow on MS Roll20, or dig through the VODs yourself because they're right here on twitch.tv/Roll20 app. So check them out. This has been another delightful episode of The Burning Wheel, and we will catch you same time next week. If you have been watching the Thursday show, that time slot is temporarily devoid of content because we had a player go and we're switching up games. We're making plans. I got 2 new players coming on. I'll announce all the details about that next week, so you can check that out then. Thanks for coming, everybody. We will see you next time.
Night.
Bye.